Okay, so Avinash?
He left the room.
Okay, that's good. All right, so we'll start from here. So what's SAP and how does it work and how BI works with SAP's perspective and how we look at SAP's different kinds of systems and what can be the systems that can be connected to BI, all that. Okay? So does anybody know what SAP is?
System application process.
To communicate, to record information, to provide data for decision making, financial statements, to run the business.
All business.
Okay, so everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little blurry, but...
Is it blurry?
Yeah. We should be on the screen too, but nobody wants it. Yeah, I don't know how to log in. But if we're all logged in, it would be better.
How about now?
Well, I think it would be great if because we all have monitors, to be able to have the monitor active as well as the projector, because the projector is not clear.
Okay.
So can you walk us through that, or do we need Avinash?
I think Avinash can set it up. I can't do anything from here.
Yeah, help us out now. Sure,
Yeah. Let's be able to see it because it's not as clear. Where's the keyboard? ITB and the cat?
Yeah. Oh, no, it's fine.
And then what? Anything else? And that's it.
That's it. I think we have to log in. We have computer log in.
Yeah.
Sheila, can you give me 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm on the start screen as well.
Go to meeting. Go to meeting connect.
Yeah.
Go from your Chrome.
Log into Chrome and go to Code 9. I doubt if you have it. Actually, do you mind taking that one? I think that is on, so.
Okay.
Because we can, I think, because we don't have a identity cable. 597.
Oh, I see it.
463 597 597.
I didn't see it. Weird.
You want slide on your,
Yeah, I can.
you have slide.
Yeah, I do.
Avinash?
Yeah, Sri. Yeah, we are
So
all set up.
is
Yeah, we can
okay.
start. Sure.
Somebody else. Okay.
Yeah, Eileen just joined from here, so.
Okay. So SAP is nothing but system, application, and products. Okay. So we have different products in ERP system. So why do we need ERP system? As somebody said, to run the business, the efficient way of doing business. So you can track all your money. So you can track all your efforts, and you can track all your how the management is doing. So everything that you can track what you put in the system for right from the day one until today, and you can do some analysis on it, which really helps to take the decisions on your business strategy, which helps on your day-to-day activities on your business. Okay? Hello?
Yes.
So there are different versions of SAP ECC. They started from R1 and then R2, R3, and now it's called ECC. And the versions are, they had R4.7, ECC 5, and 6. So these are the new versions of ECC is the 6.0. Okay? So this slide talks about how are we grown till today's SAP world. So they're trying to automate some things when they store some data in late 80s and early 80s. And in 90s, they're trying to put data together which has some meaning. They used to store the data in 80s like individual tables, which is a raw data, doesn't make any difference, sense, or it doesn't correlate with each other. And later on, they started how to manage the data in order to have a relationship in all the tables. Okay? So these are few things that when you have a business strategy that every company has to follow. So how do you plan for your architecture? How many systems you need? How big the organization is? And then how many users are going to use the system? Based on that, we have to build the system. And SAP gives you some standard content. Okay, most of the businesses can use the standard content, and then they go for a custom development. It's an enhancement of the standard. Most of the places. Okay. So the system integration. It's like, okay, you have two different source systems to get one truth of record. You have to integrate those systems in order to have the right record. Otherwise, you have like duplicate records, which is not true. And then it guides you. And also you think that, okay, these are the records coming from which system. You have to identify the long list of processes that you have to do to identify all this. So when you integrate the systems properly, then the transaction records that you create will be always unique. Okay? So how SAP is going towards business objects or business one? So what is business one and what is business objects? So in business objects, are we trying to achieve some analytic and tactical data, not the operational data. So most of the ERP reports that we see, those are operational reports, not analytical reports. So does anyone know what's the difference between operational and analytical reports?
I don't know. I could take a guess, but
Yeah, you can guess.
so operational is just giving you information about what's going on. And analytical is comparing data, maybe to give you answers to make improvements.
Yes. So operational gives you what happened, but it doesn't talk why happened. You know? So you have million rows of data and it tells you, okay, this is what you sold or this is what you bought. All that it can tell you by millions of rows, you can see, okay, at the end, okay, this is what I bought. But why it happened? So why can it be happen in a different way? If you run your business in a different way, then it can be grown, numbers can be bigger or smaller. You know what will happen. So you eventually, if you take two customers when you're running a business, so if you run an operational report, you never know what he is really buying from your store, right? So if you look at Amazon, if you log into Amazon a couple days ago and then you purchase some product and then you log off and then you log back in after 2 days, so they're going to send you some of those same kind of products you may be interested in, right? Why they send that? Because they give you a clue saying that, okay, this is what you're trying to buy, but you're not interested at the time, or it might be a price high, all that. So they're going to send you some similar products where you can buy those. So that's one way of marketing, right? So until unless they analyze your data, what you're searching for, they can give you a similar product of the type what you're looking for, right? Hello?
Yes. So we're paying too much attention to you.
Okay. So those things we have to analyze when we are in a consumer market or any kind of a market. So we need to know how customers think about our products and what product is really going good in the market. So how we have to achieve our inventory, all that stuff we can look at in the system and then make some decisions. When it is an operational, it's hard to make some decisions. So that's where we are going towards a prediction line by using all the tools that we have in SAP. Every company is going towards a prediction. So what if analysis? They do, okay, what if I have 10,000 of some inventory, how do I sell them? And how the customer is going to buy from us and what kind of promotions that we have to do. So all these comes in the analysis phase, not at the operational. So only in the operational, okay, what I'm selling and what I'm getting. You know? So there are a lot of differences. So anyone know what is ROI is?
Yeah.
What was it?
Return on investment.
Yes. So every company looks forward what is the ROI is, right? So the first year, they may not look for it. How the company is doing and what are the customers that they have, all the other things they might look for. But they don't look really for the return on investment. But when you go a little after 5 years, they always look for it. Because okay, go ahead.
Software itself, or enjoyment within the business?
Including everything, right? So of the first year, maybe you try to break even your company all the time. Most of the companies does. And then the second year, they try to get more and more customers and more business so that they can get all their returns from the investment.
Right.
So there is a few things that SAP has a planning system which they usually use for their ROIs, and then for every module there is some planning system. So if you know APO and BPC, for the budget they plan their budget in BPC, and production planning can be done in APO. All this can be done in different systems, which SAP has it. So ERP is why ERP only from SAP? So there are many ERP systems. So why was SAP ERP is that grown in market rather than any other ERP tool? Does anyone know that?
Why SAP?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, I mean, it's very complex and can handle a lot of volume,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sort of like scalable. I mean, it's got its own flexibility, but it's I mean, it's very complex.
Agreed. So basically all the modules in SAP, like finance, sales, material management, production planning, and other warehouse management, all these are tightly integrated. So
Or
let's
what?
say tightly integrated.
Tightly integrated.
Yeah. So let's say if you create a sales order, right? So what was your next step? So a customer buy from you something, and what is the next step?
You have to make sure you have it in inventory. You have to ship it.
Yes. So the next step is to check the inventory, right?
Yeah.
And the next step would be, if there is no inventory, then you have to plan for it based on the delivery date, right? So you have to deliver the product by a certain date. And to deliver, you have to buy your raw materials and make it to a finished goods, and then you have to ship it. Once you're shipping it, you have to invoice him to get charged. So once he charged, you have to put those into the finance, right?
No. Yes.
So these are all big steps, but we don't know, okay, how this process is going to work. So all these are tightly integrated. You guys are following me?
Yes.
Okay. So these, if you see, some of the systems says My SAP, ERP, CRM, SCM. So there are many systems in SAP. So does anyone know what CRM is?
Yeah.
Customer relation,
Yep.
Yep.
invoice management.
Yep.
Yes, you're right. So this is SCM is a supply chain management system.
What is it?
So supply chain.
Supply chain.
Yeah. So basically, if you're dealing with a lot of vendors, if you see the food companies, the Kraft or Cisco Foods or there are other food companies that you see, what they do, they really use SCM a lot.
Okay.
Because what they do, when they have big orders, they create a requisition, and then the vendor's going to bid. So let's say they need a chicken of 100 tons. So they create one requisition and put it on the market for a while. So same as like a job. So somebody looking for some job, so they hire somebody, they put some request outside, right? The requisition to hire someone. The same way, they create a requisition with 100 tons of chicken and put the requisition out there. So the vendor's going to bid, and then finally they choose few vendors, and then they get the product from them.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I don't know if this is the right time, but you know, is it possible to speed up the introduction a bit, because I think many of us have you know, we are familiar with IT systems, the background.
So you want me to talk about SAP? Hello?
I think we are okay the way you are going, all three of us.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good, you get a good
Understand.
Kiran, you have any specific?
right? You're talking to clients, talk to clients, you have to feel like you know
Yeah.
the product. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Hello?
Yeah, so we
Okay,
are
I mean,
here
if that's what
No, I haven't gone to any detail. I'm just talking about how the business scenarios that can be in the system. So why are we buying those systems and why the people are maintaining those systems? That's all about it.
But
Right.
you're good.
Yeah. We agree
So if
with
you
you.
have anything specific, you can ask me. I can go back and
I mean, let's take what,
Let's start.
hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, we okay.
We're good.
So you're talking about scalability, right? Ellen?
Eileen?
Yeah, Ellen. Sorry,
Yeah.
I spelled something wrong. So this is what you're talking about, right? The scalability of the architecture. See, the factory was somewhere else, and the distributor companies were somewhere else, and your headquarters were somewhere else. And then you still integrate them to know what's happening in all these 4 places.
Right.
Do you have different packages in each? Okay. Are you finished with the module? Can we ask questions now, or?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead with your questions. That's where I start.
Yeah, so SAP Business 1 versus SAP R3 or SAP the ECC 6.0. What's Business 1?
Okay. From the business one, they have tools together. Okay. Right from the ECC.
Yeah.
So some people, when they buy it from the product from SAP, so they group the products. They buy ERP, CRM, business objects. Okay. So they together come in one business solution or one business suite. Okay. Hello?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, we're listening, yeah.
Okay. So all these in business one solution, already there is some reports for certain areas that developed by SAP, and they integrated what they do when they install these systems according to the business, okay, and they configure them and integrate them because they're already done by SAP, all those integrations. You can just plug and play those things until you change something. You want to change something, a process, a business process, because every company has their own business process when compared to what SAP is developed.
Okay.
So to change those business processes, okay, you do your own development. So you have some people in IT that they develop your own processes, how the business needed. But here SAP Business One is a group of systems when you're buying it.
Is it more like you're buying a package that's less customizable?
Yes. So let's say you want ERP system, okay, and CRM system, and then business object system.
Okay.
For your reporting. What if you buy 3 different systems individually, right?
Right.
I mean SAP, or you have a different CRM system?
No, SAP eventually. So let's say you're planning to buy 3, but rather than buying one at a time, most of the times they buy together.
Okay.
So once you have all together, you make it as a package, and the solution they provide you based on the systems, it's always one solution, right?
Okay.
So let's say you implement ERP first, okay, and you plan to buy CRM,
Yeah.
and then you plan to buy SEM, okay, but you're planning something for your vendor evaluation, a different system, which is not SAP.
Okay.
So that way, to integrate it stuff, why don't you buy the same system which is in SAP for the vendor evaluation? So it's one umbrella altogether.
So basically, this is considered as a package for a certain requirement and a certain business need.
Yes.
And they just call it Business One, or Business One is the same all over?
They call it Business One when you have all these packages set up. So they have different packages.
These 3 specific ERP, CRM, and business objects is called Business One? Or
Yes. You have different packages too. That's what I'm saying. So you can only buy ERP, CRM, and business objects, or you can buy SEM, ERP, and business objects. You have different ways of using those systems together.
It's a package to accommodate business needs.
Yes.
so it's above ECC 6.0, which is just the ERP.
ERP is okay. So
When you show the last picture with the headquarters and then the factory and this one.
this one.
Yes,
Okay.
this one. So you had different, it looked like different software in the different facilities. And I would think that it's just all, you have everything and it's networked and people access what they need. But you have, like, in the sales office, SAP Business One, and in the factory R3. And then in this, oh, this is a distributor of theirs, not a,
This is in journal.
this is not one company.
No.
This is not one company. The headquarters is one company, and they're buying from a factory, and they have a sales subsidiary, and a distributor who's a third party. And in other words, if it's one company, I would think they'd have one platform, and everyone would access what they need.
Basically, looking at this
Yes.
picture, basically what we're getting at there are 3 or 4 different
related.
companies using different SAP modules. Different as a sales subsidiary using a Business One, and the distribution using SAP All-in-One, and the other one factory using Enterprise. So yeah, they are all different packages according to their business here as an example.
So these are unrelated companies.
Yes.
So let's say.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you have the right understanding of what this slide is?
Okay, let me explain you.
Okay.
So your company, you can be the same company. That's what I'm saying. So the company ABC is in Paris, okay? And then the factory is in Michigan, in US. And the sales subsidiary can be in Asia, some part of Asia. And these distributors can be in Europe as well as in US, okay?
It's the distribution channel.
The distribution channel, yes. Okay, you can call it that way. So now, they just named SAP Business One. Why? Because they can connect all these systems at one central location, okay? And then once you have these information set up, and let's say there is something sales created or something from headquarters have been done, Okay, but you can view that information either from the your distribution center, or from the factory, or from the headquarters. This together whole solution is SAP Business One. There is nothing you can say, okay, here they're using R3 system, so there is something new in Business One. No. So the solution will be always the centralized location, most of the clients. In few occasions, there are different ERP systems for the same clients. For example, GM has two different ERP systems at one time, and they made it together. And now they have only one ERP system. They have two BIs at one time, and now they have only one BI system. Okay. Sometimes they do used to maintain two different systems, but it's hard to have the truth in two different systems. So they just put everything in one system right now. The SAP Business One is a solution having all these integrated systems. Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, listening.
Okay. So there is nothing different than having one ERP system or multiple ERP systems, or it's just the way that you're buying it and the way you're implementing it. That's all SAP Business One. Because it's one platform, you're making everything at one platform, and already it's a platform known, and then you have everything integrated, which you can use it, plug and play. Okay? So when we go to the architecture, so it is 3-tier client-based system. So everybody knows what is TekTaurus?
No. What do you mean by that?
Okay.
Representation, application, different 3 servers. 3 servers.
Okay. So it doesn't mean that it's 3 servers. Okay. So what it does is, you need the database to store all your information, right?
Yeah.
So if you say, let's say, you have Excel file. You want to store it somewhere in a table. Then you need a database. So like Oracle, SQL, HANA, Netezza, DB2, all these are databases. Okay? So what is application layer does? Have any idea?
No.
Okay. So what application layer does is all your calculations and integration. So let's say you have 2 tables, okay? In one of the tables you have the cost of the material. Another table you have how much the customer ordered quantity is. So now you want to know how much is the net price. Then what do you need to do?
Right.
Hello?
What was it too? Was it how much they ordered and what?
Okay, so there is one table which is customer table,
Yeah, just the list.
and the list of orders that are created by the customers,
Okay.
and you have the order quantity in the table that you're seeing right now.
Okay.
Okay? And you need to find out how much the total order he made with us, each of those customers.
Right.
So now,
Total, the aggregate.
yes, so there is a material table where it tells you the price of the material.
Okay.
Then what you need to do, the next step, to find out how many materials he ordered and how much worth of order value that he ordered from us.
Calculator, no?
You're talking about looking at the sales price and then the cost?
So basically what you do,
Difference,
you take the customer number and find all his sales orders and take the materials and then their order quantity and multiply it by the price, right?
Right.
So then you know how much he bought each of the materials costing. Like let's say one of the materials he is buying $100 from us, probably another material from $50, right? What if you go to a Walmart and buying all the goods from Walmart for your grocery stuff? Then he looking at you, okay, he's buying all these materials from me. Based on 10 customers, he know what to fill on the shelf. Is it true? Right? So that's how the whole calculation and then everything runs on the integration of the application server. Okay, I'll show you what is really it is. Okay. So presentation layer. So how to view the information? So you know the information is stored in the database, and then you made some logic to view the data in certain format. So where do you see the data?
Oh, the presentation.
That's where the presentation layer is.
That's the report.
Yes. A report or a screen where you see the data.
Okay.
Right? So you know that the data is stored in the database, but if you can't see it, there's no point of having that system, right?
Okay.
So you need something which presents that data, the format that you want.
So is it easy to say that the database is the data, the application is really the calculation, the computation of what you want, and the presenter is the display?
Yes.
Okay.
In some places, okay, even in the presentation layer, there is a chance of doing some calculations. Okay?
Okay.
A lighter weight of calculations, they call it as. So
Okay, maybe sorting or selection.
Yeah, all that. So let's say you want something adding one each other or doing an aggregation. Okay?
Okay.
All those used to happen at a presentation layer.
Okay.
So now, what SAP HANA is really doing,
Yeah.
rather than having all those calculations at application server level or a presentation server level,
Okay.
they're pushing it down to the database level. So when they retrieve the data from the database itself, they do all your calculations and then throw the data out to the presentation layer.
So they're skipping the application layer.
No, they're not skipping the application layer. Application layer still exists. But your calculations and all the operations they're trying to push towards the database layer, most calculations. So that way, whenever you create a query, it runs faster.
But it's taking out layers of steps. And it's closer.
Eventually, what it does is, okay, so when you have a report, right? On the presentation layer, you say, okay, execute it. What it does, it throws all the commands to the presentation layer, and then it goes to the database and pull the data back and do all the calculations in the presentation layer and puts the data back to the application layer. It does all the calculations at application layer and puts back the data to the presentation layer. But in order to save some time, so that what they're really engineering is having too many calculations in the application server, because it goes down, bring some data and do a calculation, again go to the database server and get some more data and do a calculation, and then it does the same thing until the data that you want it. Okay? It's not going to pull one time. it does multiple times to have your all data to show it in the presentation layer. So in order to read those many times, it has a time delay. And if it's a big report, it runs forever. So what they're trying to do, whatever the calculations that you're trying to do in application layer, you are sending towards the database layer, those calculations.
So that
Are you
it's
guys
sorting
clear on
through
this?
less data? Is it just that it's sorting through less data?
Oh, come again?
Is it sorting through what makes it faster?
Okay. So when you have a table, right? Customer information in the table. So do you have to read the data, right? To display it, how do you know what to display? Okay, you say, I need a customer number 10. So then what it does, it goes to the database, into the table, and then look for the customer 10, right?
Right.
And then if it is there, the information that you're looking at, it picks that record and then come back to the application layer and then see if there is any calculation needed. If there is needed one, and it does that calculation and puts back to the presentation layer where you view the data.
So it has to sort through less data because you're more specific in what you're looking for?
Come again, your question, I didn't understand.
I guess I'm wondering why HANA makes it faster to have the calibration done at the database level. Is it because it's either searching through less data or it's closer to the source, or what actually makes it faster?
Okay. So now we're talking about just one record, right? Customer record. What if you have 10,000 customers? Then it reads maybe a few thousand times to get all your data.
Okay.
So now you have few thousand cycles between your application layer and the database layer. So it finds one customer and comes back to the application layer, maybe 1 or 10, and then it does the calculation for those 10, and again it reads another 10, and then do the calculation for those 10, and then it keeps going up and down.
Okay.
So instead of going back and forth from application to database layer to do those calculations,
Okay.
what if they push those calculations to the database? It doesn't. You don't need to push back to the application layer those data, right?
It's just less back and forth.
Yes. So that way you save the time.
Okay.
So that's what the HANA is doing. HANA is working directly with presentation application, and all the output, keeping it in the temp memory and working directly with the database to cut down the performance and time.
There is no temp memory. There are some temp tables when it needs, it creates, and then it releases back.
Right.
But
Question is, we try to understand, I think, how does HANA work between these three layers?
okay, let me come back to this one second.
The application. So it's allowing the calculation.
I understand that part. I'm trying to understand that all these three, instead of going directly to these three layers, HANA is doing the work.
With the same
Right. So that's not, HANA is a key factor in producing everything so fast. But HANA is what?
He's saying it's like SQL. It's a database. Like SQL. It's like SQL Server. How it is storing the data.
HANA is
Compared to SQL.
Okay. What is HANA? HANA is a database. HANA itself is a hardware. Okay.
It's hardware.
And HANA is based on the software You ever heard about the Eclipse?
No.
About what?
Eclipse.
Okay.
So they developed the whole tool using Eclipse.
Okay.
So it itself it has its own database. It stores the data in both ways. One is traditional way, and another is a columnar based data. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Okay. So why are we storing in a columnar based data? So if it is a columnar store, it's already indexed by itself. Okay? And then it will be faster when you read the data. Okay? When you have the traditional database, which is row structured, you have to go each row by row to identify your record and also the column. Okay? So why I said that, I'll explain you when we get into the system. Okay?
Okay.
So now if you see, I have my P layer and then A layer and then D layer. Right? Can you see these three boxes on the Word document?
Yes.
PAD.
So the application layer never goes away. Okay? So what it's really doing, this is what? See now the two arrows that are pointed to each other, A and D. Hello?
Yes.
So when a command or a report is executing on a presentation layer, it sends the same two-way communication to this application layer. Okay? So it sends a command to the application layer from presentation layer, and then it takes the whole thing that what you want, and it works with the database. Okay? And it runs on what you want on the application layer. So on the presentation layer, the application layer guides the database to fetch that data from the database, and then push it back to the application layer, and then application layer pushes to the presentation layer. Are you clear on this? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, see, there is a back and forth going between application layer and the database layer, right? Now, what's HANA really doing? It's not doing that back and forth lot times than another system. It's pushing all the calculations, what is happening in the application layer. Most 90% of the calculations they are putting down in the database layer. Okay? And then only 10% like aggregation, or if you want to do some lightweight calculation, let's say you want to sort it, or you want to do a row count, okay, or something very easy. That's what we're putting on the application right now. And even we're reducing the weight on the presentation layer, so we are not doing any calculations on the presentation layer going forward. Hello?
Yes.
So that way your data comes faster. Okay? Any questions? You good? Okay. So this is how the architecture is, the three-tier architecture. So these are the clients. See, there are a lot of laptops looking at the left. So those are you working on in the environment or in the office. So servers that you see in the middle, all these application servers that we connect to a database where you store all the information, and these application servers retrieve back the data and then pass on to our screens.
The RDBMS system,
Mm-hmm.
is that the hosting or the software is?
RDBMS is the database. It's relational database management system. The RDBMS is. So DBMS is the old style of database management system, which I thought there is no relationship between the tables. So you have to identify and then put the relationship. These RDBMS concept came when you have those defined tables, the relationships already defined in it. Okay?
Yes.
So this is nothing but a system how that can be, see, let's say your application server has Windows 2003 server and the SQL database, okay? And your backend system can be like this, enterprise SOS, ERP, CRM, SRM, SCM, all this, and your client version laptops are these versions. Okay? So basically how your environment looks like, we're just pointing out some tool names. So presentation layer, your graphical user interface, your workstation, it's way light, and then you send a request to an application layer, and which obtains a screen from an application server and displays the data. That is what we went through, right? The application server is. What's the application server is? You guys getting?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. See the database server. What you have in the database server? Your database, which is RDBMS. And it connects to the application server every time. Okay. So, does anyone know about this? What's there in development, quality, and production? Hello?
Yeah, say that again?
Do you know why we maintain three systems? Development, quality, and production?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody knows about this, right?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want me to explain, or you guys all know about this?
Very good.
Good.
Okay. So so there is a 3-digit number on SAP screen which is called client. Okay? Any system of SAP you log in, the first thing that you see is a client screen on the top, on your left corner. And then username and password. So what is this client number? Why do we need this client number? It makes the system unique. Okay? So you can start from 001 to all the way 9999. In some of the environments, they name the dev system as 100, and a queue system they call it as 200, and then 300 is a production system. Are you getting me? So basically they are identifying based on the number or a range, are those systems are dev environments or a quality environments or a production environments. Based on the number, they can tell you, okay, which environment is it. Are we good on this?
Yes.
Okay. So now, these are screens you really don't need it. So this is what I'm talking about, how SAP is tightly integrated is. So when you start the business, what do you need to start the business?
Depending on the business, if you're manufacturing, you need a manufacturing, distribution, planning.
Okay, before you go into there, first what do you want?
Well, start the business.
Cash management,
And besides that,
financial.
So first thing, I would think money, right? To start a business.
yeah.
Don't you think so?
Yes.
Okay, so even you might have an idea, but somebody has to buy it, right? First thing.
Right.
So you need a money first place. So what else next you want to start with?
Well, if you have the idea already, what is your business is? If the business is manufacturing, then you need a plan after the money.
So okay, so you need manufacturing plan. That's what you're saying?
So plan. I mean, money, plan. What do you plan to do?
Mm-hmm.
And then if, let's say you want to manufacture something, then you need a manufacturing, if the research and development, sales, everything comes with it. Distribution, purchasing.
Mm-hmm. So what I thought was, okay, I had a money right now, and then what you said is planning, right? Exactly. So now what I would do, I buy a machinery, what I'm trying to produce.
Right.
And then I'm buying some material to do the finished goods, right? And then I need the manpower to execute all this.
Right.
And then what I need, the last one is M. Another M is marketing. I need to market my goods. So all these 5 M's are really important in your business. Don't you think so?
Yes.
So if I have 5 M's, I can start a business. So if you see the financial accounting, right? That's one of the modules in SAP.
Right.
And then there is another one called controlling.
Okay.
And there is another one called asset management. Why are they go really hand in hand? Are they really important to have 3 different modules?
Yeah, of course. You need them.
You're starting your business.
Why do we need 3 modules for having just FI?
I mean, why are they broken up instead of in one?
Yes.
The only thing I could think of is the database management, but because some systems have them all together. Some software's got it all together.
Mm-hmm. So, but why SAP? You know why SAP is separated them and having them as like.
I don't know, database management?
Any guess?
Database management?
Not really.
Okay.
There's 3 different things, and it comes into one.
Not everybody needs everything. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so it could be that.
Yeah. Hey, Kiran, do you have any idea why we need to split them into 3 different buckets?
Well, to have better control, better vision.
Yeah, I agree on this point because most of the companies, they manage them in 3 individual sectors. Some companies do manage them in one and from one shot, but there are 3 different entities actually. See, what's in FI, what you have on your account and what you're spending, and how do you need to get more money to increase your business. That's where you more rotate on every day's life cycle. What's controlling is really, if you've given some money to different departments, how are they spending? Why are they spending more? In what ways you can cut down those expenses? And okay, if they're overpaying for it, and then you know why are they overpaying for it? Okay? Hello?
Yes.
So asset management itself, it needs to be driven in the way, okay, if company is buying another company, one company is acquiring another company, you need to know they need some different guys to analyze the company before you buy it. If they don't analyze the company that you're buying it, even you're buying an asset, it's going to be a liability if you don't buy it right. Right? The simple terms, if you are buying a house, we research for almost 6 to 7 months or 8 months and then we buy it. Because if you're buying your home, it's always an asset. It cannot be a liability for you. Right? So when you're buying, you're planning for such long time to buy a house. So when you're buying a company, there might be different people, how they evaluate that company, and based on their evaluation, either you buy it or not, you decide, right? So most of the companies have their own different team to evaluate these companies when they buy and sell it. So they don't need really you don't really need a lot of financing stuff in those companies if they're just buying and then selling it. Right? In some companies where the manufacturing clients or any other clients, they need a lot of finance stuff because there might be different processes getting invoice from a vendor or sending a check to a customer, or any of these different processes can be different in the finance. There are certain companies which just do the asset management. So they are more deep into asset management rather than in FI. So that's why they divided each of these individual into an individual module, so that you have your specifics in a more clear rather than putting everything together. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. If you see SD, MM, PP, right? So why are the three together?
Because you may not have manufacturing.
Mm.
Are they all together? Because it's the process from planning, purchasing, to selling. It's a movement of your product.
Agreed. So now you create a sales order. So you start from SD, right? Either of the way you can do it. So you have a request for 10 bags of chicken or 20 bags of chicken. So now you go to your material management and see you have those in your stock or not. If not, you have to think, how do you get that by using your production planning. Once you have planned for it, you'll see how are there anything in your warehouse, and then if there is, and then you test for your quality, how the product is. So if you say it's an A grade product, it's supposed to be tested, and then okay, it's an A grade product, they have to label it, right? So they have to test the product before they release out. Hello?
Hello, yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So it's each of its own responsibility to finish the product into a finished product, product into a finished product. Don't you think so?
Of course, yeah.
Right? Okay. So this is the same information. Okay, so probably you must know all these information. In FI, we have general ledger, account receivables, account payables, and sub ledgers. Anyone have any idea about these?
Basic accounting stuff,
Yes. So this is more accounting stuff. So which entry goes to which account? Why should it go into that? All other stuff. So how controlling works? How your profitability analysis can be done. So what is profit center accounting? What is enterprise controlling? So this is how the sales order processes. Okay? So you have a sales activity and the customer call for an inquiry and then we give a quotation. Once you give a quotation, if he agrees for that, you create a sales order and the subsequent delivery and then you will invoice him. Any questions so far? Kiran, any questions?
Sri, are we going to be able to have this presentation to review afterwards?
I didn't get you. What was the question?
Will we be able to get a copy of this presentation so we can review it?
You mean the recording?
Yeah. I'll send you once the class is finished.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
No problem. I'll give you all the material once the class is completed on the end of the day. So you can review it, then you can pass me the comments. If you have to change something in there, we'll change it.
Okay.
So my question is, are you going to be also providing BI material?
I have some SAP material. Okay. So if you go to the SAP class, what kind of material they're going to give you? I have that sort of material with me already. So I'm going to give you the same material that I distributed before.
So when it comes to the practical, I mean, don't have
So would that reflect, the 310 also?
Yeah. So I'm going to give you the same kind of a material. What 310 is? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For coming to the class, the technical part of it when we're doing on the system, I'll show you on the system how to do that, whatever the task that we are working on that day, and then we list out the steps. Okay? So that way, when you redo the same thing, you already know the steps. Okay? And then you can practice it multiple times.
Okay.
And then I'll give you one book, SAP BI book, which has its step-by-step process how to do each of those tasks. Whatever I taught you in the same day of the class, I can tell you which page that you're supposed to refer, and then it's the same process.
Okay, that's good.
Okay?
So would the data get created in IDS?
Come again, I didn't understand that.
Now, would you have pre-created data for us to play around with in IDS?
Yes. So system was not ready yet. They created a system a couple days ago, and they're working on it. So that system itself has its own data. So they have some temporary data which we can play with it. Okay.
All right.
Or otherwise, I'll teach you how can we load our own data, which is from the flat file. Okay, so if you have an Excel, you can prepare your own data, and then you can load it to one of the cubes or a DSOs, which is technical objects in SAP BI, and then you can play with the data by creating some reports. Okay.
All right.
So if you have anything specific in your mind to play with the data set, you can come up with your Excel sheet so that I'll show you how to load the data into the system so that you can play with it. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. I guess later on your classes would include things like logical information structures and stuff like that.
Yes. So this is just an introduction of what SAP can do and what is the process and why those processes are defined in such a way that all these we are talking about today. But once we get the system, because probably next week is January, we're close to the 31st, so maybe we may not have the class, I don't know yet, but from January 1st, definitely we'll be working on technical part of the BI. So we'll be creating objects, we'll be loading data, and we will see how the data can transform from a raw structure to a meaningful structure. Okay, so all that course content we will go through. Okay.
So you're saying that there might not be a class next week?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah, she told me no.
Yeah, she said no, but is there a choice here, or?
I don't know yet, so it'll be somebody from the management. They're gonna let you know.
Okay.
But because what I saw so far is most of the people, for Christmas and the New Year's Eve, they don't want to come for the class, you know.
Okay.
Well, it's 4 of us, right? And you.
Yes.
I mean, I'm interested in next weekend. If the class wants to meet, I'm available.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay. Based on them, we can look at that schedule. I don't know yet, so
What do you think?
I don't want to tell you something which is not right. Okay.
Next weekend?
But mother said
So a couple of last questions.
Yeah, Kiran, go ahead.
When will the system be made available? And when will we get the SAP material?
Material she'll be passing by Monday because I gave the material to already. I think Neela. I don't know. You guys know Madhu?
Yes, we know her.
Oh, okay. So she'll be sending you the material. So I think she's doing with something on the material. I already gave it to her. So she'll be working and sending on to you guys on Monday. But whatever I think in the class materials, I'll be sending you. Okay.
Okay.
And system access?
Yes, she's gonna send you the system access. Then I'll show you how to set up. Okay. And then you can start using it.
sounds good.
Okay.
So everybody clear on that?
Yes.
Okay. See, this is the process, the whole process that we're trying to work on is the sales order process or order to cash. So you enter a sales order, you check for the material. If the material is available, pick it, pack it, post the goods, invoice the customer, and receive the payment. In this, there are different modules working on this, right? So when you're creating a sales order, you're going and creating in an SD module. When you're checking it, you're going and working with the module. Once work with and pack it, and then you're going to again the post good and the invoice. So when you invoice, it goes to the finance, right? So you need to receive the money from the customer. So there are 3 different modules connected tightly to do this process. So this integration in SAP is better than any other ERP outside in the market. That's why SAP is going faster on the ERP side. So there is something called Oracle apps, so which is same kind of solution, same kind of ERP system that's out there, but it was not that tightly integrated. Okay. So this is the procurement process. So when you have a requisition, you create a purchase order and notify the vendor, and vendors do a shipment to us. When you get the shipment, you see the goods receipt. Okay, whatever product, I have to verify. Once I verify, and then I see the invoice receipt from him, and then I put payment to the vendor. So this is just, I just put in some ideas that how it can work. So these are the areas that it works this way.
Yeah.
So these are different sectors of SAP that today SAP can work with. So I don't know which space you guys are in, all these sectors, but most of these places that SAP has their own systems, like ERP and CRM, other areas too.
It's financial, right?
Pardon me?
I don't see the financial sector. That's very specific.
Uh,
I mean, it looks pretty comprehensive, but I don't see the financial industry.
the banking is,
Yeah,
there is.
Yeah.
So most banks,
Oh, SAP for banking.
yeah, so most banks has SAP, but there are some banks which are still in mainframe systems. They never converted from the mainframe to SAP. Somewhat they have converted most of it, but some programs are still running in mainframe. So I worked in ADP. I think everybody knows what ADP is, right?
Yeah.
The paycheck company. I work with them. Their 60% of the solution is in SAP, and their 40% solution still in mainframe.
Okay.
So some companies still use the way it is, but some companies totally migrate everything from their old systems like mainframe or other systems. They just migrate it to SAP. Any questions so far?
No. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So in the CRM system, so we have 4 specific tasks. One, we have to market and generate the leads for the company, and then the sales. So we have to find out how the forecasting of the sales and how we are supposed to manage our inventory and everything. Services. So it does all customer support and then different services for the products, and some of the companies have the professional services like sending the technicians towards each of the customer and finding out. All that can be driven in this by CRM system. And the analytics. What kind of analytics? The product analytics. So if you release a product, so how the product is growing in the market. So what rate it's growing in. And is there any a lagging in the marketing, or because of the service the product is not going better, or why the returns are not that great rather than compared to another product? So all these can be analyzed by using the data that's in CRM. So the CRM is really useful for these four categories mainly. And there is another category that is also comes into the services, which is called customer services. I think it's called IC, which is interactive customer care. So that's also part of the service. So most of your call center also in the company that uses CRM. And there is another tool in SAP which is called BCM that connects with CRM, and then your customer services can be on BCM tool and feed the information to CRM so that you can analyze when anyone calls you to find out about your product, or if they have issues with your product looking for online, all that can be identified. Okay? So this is talks about more on how the supplier collaboration with you and how the vendor collaborations, basically how you have to see this is earlier you have to call them or fax them a document and then do all the process. Today your calling them is less. You're sending them an email or you're sending them directly the process order directly to their fax machine, and then they receive it, or they receive through their system, and that gets generated into their system, and then see those orders directly. Hello?
Yeah.
So that's the first phase, and this is where we are today. So how are we improve our strategy, and then what it really used for, because you have to reduce your operational cost and then your unit price of it, so everything can be improved so that you can be better, be an outstanding player in the market. Hello?
That's good.
Listening? Okay. So what is NetWeaver? Why do we need NetWeaver? So there is two types of systems within the BI system. Okay. So one system is called SAP ABAP system, and another one is called SAP Java. Okay. So they basically call ABAP stack and Java stack.
J-A-V-A, right? Java?
What's the question again?
Java, J-A-V-A.
Yeah, Java, yes. So ABAP is a programming language that SAP uses for their own tool. Okay? So like you heard about .NET or Java or other tools in the market which has their own programming language. The same way SAP has a programming language, they call it as ABAP. Okay? So now, why would we have? Why should we have two different systems? Why should we have an ABAP and the Java? The Java is really for a presentation layer purpose. Okay. So once upon a time there was no Java component in SAP BI or ECC, any platform that we have today, because all the customers need some fancy stuff and fancy screens and stuff. They don't need a screen which doesn't really look better, you know. So everybody's website is having full of colors, and then it looks more brighter and stuff. The SAP screens, if you see on ABAP, it's not that great. So that's why they wanted to go on Java so that they can present all these presentation layers in a more presentable manner. So that's where we have two stacks. One is Java stack and then ABAP stack. Okay. All the applications of SAP core application integration are all in mostly in ABAP stack. Okay. See, just what we're talking about this Java, WSRP, all these languages, and all these are broken apart. You see J2EE, ABAP, DB, and OS abstraction on the last application platform.
What does TCO stand for?
What is it?
What does TCO stand for?
Where are you looking?
Driving TCO reduction through industry standards. The second line from the top.
Oh, the TCO. Okay. Name it as TCO. I don't really remember right now, but I'll find out and tell you. But I don't remember when we wrote this presentation a long time back.
Okay.
But if you see the platform and the application, you have the Java, you have ABAP. Okay. So this HTML, XML, SOAP, VI, XSLT, all these mostly work on Java. Okay. And then these, the BPEL, CIDX, all these are, we don't need to worry about those. Those are the basis tasks. Okay. So we are not really know all these components that are installed in the system or not. We are not going to install any of these tools on the system. That's job of SAP basis administrator or basis developer. Okay. Hello?
Yes.
So what is a multi-channel access in the portal collaboration? Basically, go ahead with the question.
TCO, total cost of operation.
Yeah.
Maybe yes. I don't remember that because
Ownership, operation, yeah. Ownership, total cost of ownership.
yeah, you can do it two different ways. So I don't know what we wrote that time. TCO means.
Just Google it, huh?
Yeah. So this multi-channel access portal collaboration, and then everything that's on the portal, it's on the Java. Nothing to do with ABAP. Okay. So anything that you see on the portal or presentation layer going forward on business objects or anything that you see, those are all built with the Java platform. Okay. So right now in SAP ERP, we have new thing called Fiori. Okay? It's a Fiori apps. So those work on iPad, iPhone, and Android, and other stuff. All those apps are built through Java technology, not an ABAP. Okay? So they're trying to push all your presentation layers towards the Java. So everybody knows about what is waterfall model and what is agile model.
What is a what? Say that again.
Waterfall model.
Waterfall. And what?
Agile.
No.
These are methodologies. ILE.
Oh, agile. A waterfall and agile. Models or modules? Modules?
No, those are methodologies.
Methodology for what?
So if you want to implement your ERP, right, you have to follow some process, right?
So it's an implementation process?
Yes.
Waterfall, it sounds, waterfall is like sequential maybe? And agile, maybe, I don't know, what you use most first? I don't know.
It used to be a waterfall before. Now all the companies are towards agile.
And what's the difference then?
Okay, so as you said, the waterfall, they take the requirements from the business first, and then they develop and they test, and then again the users will test, and then they move it to the production. Okay. In the meantime, if the user doesn't want that, these guys doesn't know, because they keep developing it, and after 4 months they go back and they say, oh no, my requirement got changed.
I know what okay.
So
Testing,
what will happen is
training.
you lose 3 months, right? And then you still the same point where you are on the first day.
Right.
So now what they're trying to do is eliminating those sequential steps, and then in this model, the new model, agile model, they're putting as a stories. Okay? So this user writes their own user story, a small story, and then you break it down into different stories. And then once they finish the first story in a week's time, or maybe 10 days, or maybe 2 weeks, they deploy that solution in the production. So it's a lot of work to in both the sides, from the business and the IT's perspective, but your product delivery is going to be so fast than rather than what you follow the waterfall model.
Okay.
I'll send you a slide that I have it, not in this document, but what we have in our office, I'll send you that so that you can see the difference really, what we're talking about on that.
Okay.
Because that is that's what we need to understand, because now everybody is talking about those two methodologies when you go to a client place. So we need to know why are they talking about those two methodologies before we get into any conversation with them.
So it's really just more interactive with the user, getting the, so you design something, they're out there, they're using it, they're testing it, and then they're coming back to say, we like this, this, and this, but we want to change this.
Yes. See, some of the business users, they think before, when the requirement is given, they think one thing and then they tell you something which is not exactly, they don't want to see on the screen.
That's
But
right.
they don't know how that is going to be, because you never picturized and then given them this is how it look like.
Right.
So the estimation between you, the business user, and me is something different. So I developed something different, which is not really, you don't want it, and then I developed it.
Right.
It's a lot of ways of like both ways. On the management side, they wasted a lot of money on me, and then I waste a lot of time, and the product never delivered, and you're still using the old processes, which is a lot of hectic time to consume it, right?
Yeah.
And then those processes consume a lot of time, and then the deliverables get delayed. So that's why they're going in a new methodology process rather than going in the waterfall model. Okay? So this is just a rough idea of those numbers, what SAP charges you.
My company spent $53 million.
Any questions?
What company is
I don't want to say, but
it? Yeah? Jeez. Well, oh, probably say for the whole Bluetooth?
what?
For the whole thing?
Yes, so that's before my time, but that's what.
Oh.
Okay. So this picture, if you see, there is a dev, QA, and prod, right?
Right.
So always your BI system connects to one or more sources. Okay?
Okay.
So your BI system can connect to an ERP system, which you can call it as ECC, SAP ECC. I'm writing down here one second. So SAP ECC, SAP CRM, SAP SRM, SAP SCM. So there are multiple systems, SAP APO, and so on. So all these systems can connect to one BI system. So if you have SAP BI here somewhere, you can connect all these systems to SAP BI, and you can store all the information in BI. Okay? So anyone know anything about what is OLTP and what is OLAP?
What is, can you repeat that? What is,
Do you know what is OLTP is?
what are the letters? OPP?
No, OLTP.
OLPP?
No. Let me type it here.
Yeah.
OLPP?
OLTP and OLAP.
Spell it with words. O as an octopus.
OLTP and OLAP. Is that what you're saying? OLAP?
No,
It's disconnected.
it's OLPP. I don't know.
APO.
APO?
OLTP and OLAP.
Yeah, those are two.
Yeah.
OLAP and OLAP.
Online transaction processing and online analytical processing.
Yeah.
So it's O,
OLTP.
Online and analytical processing, online transaction processing.
OLTP and
OLAP.
OLAP. So OL is the online?
Online transactions processing.
Okay, online transaction and online
Analytical processing.
analytical. So that's division transaction and analytical. Okay.
OLTP and OLAP.
Oh, I'm sorry, I disconnected and came back. Sorry. So do you know what OLTP is?
Yeah, we got it.
We got it.
Okay, it's an online transaction processing system. And do you know what OLAP is?
Online analytical.
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 Okay, you guys got it. So why we do have two systems? Why do we need two systems first?
They're doing two different functions, really.
So why do we need SAP ECC, and also why do we need SAP BI?
The
To
BI
store
the
the same
analytical
information.
portion.
Well, one's for transaction processing, the other is for analytical processing.
Right. ECC is
Okay.
transactional.
So 20 years ago, we don't have SAP BI. So we only have SAP ECC.
Right.
So they, as you said, they thought that's the right thing to have another system where you do all your analytics. And also, if you have the same system, let's say SAP ECC or ERP,
Not everybody.
you have lots of transactions going on. At the same time, you want to do analytics on the same data, it's hard to do it. Because the database is not that flexible enough to do both the steps at the same time. So let's say if you're creating a transaction on the same table and then you're reading the same information over and over, it doesn't know when to update and when to read. It takes a lot of time to process. So that's another major thing that why we have SAP BI as a different system. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, listen.
Okay? So, any other questions? Anyone have any questions?
No.
Okay. Okay. So do you know what is data field is?
Data,
Field.
data field.
Uh-huh.
Field. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, feed.
Field. Field. F-I-E-L-D.
Okay. Okay. So all these data fields let's say, okay, you have a table, right? Customer table. So now what are the information you store?
Customer name.
Okay.
Customer name, quantity, product information,
Address, phone number, email.
Customer
Contact.
name. Okay. Next.
Phone number, address,
Okay.
Contact.
Name.
customer number.
So why do we need a customer number?
So you can identify it in a different way in case you have multiple names.
Okay.
You know, similar customer name. Maybe it's a,
Look for history.
I mean, we use it. We always use it because it's numerical.
and also one number can relate to, a customer number can relate to more than one entries, products.
Okay. So always in your table, something should be unique, right?
Yep.
Because your customer number can be unique all the time. Because there can be multiple Pauls, multiple Johns, multiple anybody in the world. But your customer number cannot change because it associates with your name and it's a numeric number. It will not generate once again in the same sequential order. Right?
Yeah.
So 100 can be a Paul and 101 can be also a Paul. But their last names also can be the same. Their address may be different. One can be in Asia, one can be in US, another guy can be in Europe. Right?
Yes.
Because if you see in Amazon, there might be multiple names with the same first name and also with the last name too. But their customer numbers are different all the time. Okay, so anyone know about what is a primary key and what is a foreign key?
A primary and a foreign.
Primary key is from the master table,
Okay.
and a foreign key is could be from the other entry, I guess, or not.
Okay, see, now we have a customer table and a material table, right? So in the customer table, customer number can be a primary key. Agreed?
Yes.
So if the material table, the material number would be,
The primary key.
and the same material, if you have in customer table, then it can be a foreign key, right? You can map those together, right?
A foreign, like from another table.
It's a reference, right?
Reference.
Basically, you have the material table as the material key in its primary, and then the same key can act as a foreign key in your customer table. So then it can relate the same information, what you're storing with respect to customer and the material.
Okay.
Agreed?
So a foreign key is one that you could link on.
Yes.
So what was the example you gave then for a foreign key?
See, I'm typing. So
Okay.
the customer name is ABC, okay?
Right.
And the material number is 1211 or whatever.
Okay.
Okay? So now the ABC is the key, right? And his customer number is 100. So 100 is really our key in the customer table.
Right.
The same 1321 material number will be the key in material table. Do you agree?
Yes.
So now if you want to really see the information what is 1321 product name or product features are, then how do you relate it? Based on the key, right? Do you understand where I'm going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because this information is same as this.
Is there only one primary key in each table and everything else is considered a foreign key?
No. You can have two different primary keys, maybe sometimes three, based on the information. See, let's say you have a year, okay? Then you have your name, your year, and the product sometimes. So you buying the same product, okay, in different years. If you don't maintain the year as a key, okay, or a date, then how can you do an analysis how much product that you bought in 2011, 12, 13, 14, and go on? Hello?
Yes.
So if you maintain a date, then I can say, okay, ABC customer bought from our store 10 products of the same material in the month of January 2011. In the February 2011, he bought 20 from us. So if you don't maintain those dates or the year, so you never know. He might be buying by now 1,000 products of the same type, but you never know which month, how many he bought it from us, and which year.
Okay.
You know? So then how do you analyze? You don't know. So, but you know that he bought from us is 1,000 products, but you never know in what time he really bought more and what time his sales are with us is less. Everybody got that?
Yes.
Okay, but I'll show you how the when you set it up as a primary key, how can you set up and all that, the technical thing. Okay.
Okay.
So now come back to the data field. So now you're saying you will store 100 as a customer number and the customer name as ABC. So you have to store somewhere in the table, right? So then you have to store in the data field. So a table consists of data fields. Okay? So each of the fields has their own uniqueness of the data. So in one of the data fields you store the customer number. In other data field column you store customer name.
That's another primary key.
So let's say if we open this Excel, okay, we'll write it down here. Let's see here. My first column is customer number, right? Here, name, address. So all these are different columns, right?
Right.
So you cannot store them in one column.
No.
So you are storing them in 3 different columns with 3 different names. So each of this is one data field because it's telling you what information that you're storing in.
Right.
You guys agree on that?
Yes.
So that's why we have a data field which tells you what you are storing in that column. So if you think that this is a table, then you have 3 data fields, right?
Right.
So what you know now what data field is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go next one.
So just to reiterate about primary key,
Okay.
we were saying, okay, customer number is a primary key if this is the customer table, right?
Yes.
Customer master data file table.
Mm-hmm.
So what else would name also be a primary key? Like, how do you differentiate between a primary key and
Okay.
a
So now
primary key
I had
only sourced from data?
So now you want to tell me how this works. Okay, so now what do you see a unique information in these 2 lines?
In the
Customer number.
And the location.
So what if they are both from Chicago?
Customer number would define.
Okay.
So now all you can
I like
have
it.
is the customer number as a primary key.
Got it.
So 100 cannot be regenerated, right?
Okay. So the primary key is that differentiating. Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Yep.
So now
And it's only one per table.
yeah, not only one, you can have multiple. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. No, but one. Okay, I understand.
So now if it is a material table here, okay?
So it's like a non-repeating number.
Yes, it's always unique. It's always unique.
Got it.
So now, if you see this, go ahead.
So if in the customer table, let's just say you're holding sales order information.
Okay.
When it's sales order information, you have a customer number and a material number. Those would both be primary keys. Is that what you're saying?
Come again?
If you're looking at like a table of sales order history,
Mm-hmm.
a customer number and a material number would both be in that table and could both be primary fields.
In the sales order table?
Yeah.
No. The sales order table, sales order number is the primary key.
Sales order number. Got it. Okay.
And then the customer and the material numbers are foreign keys.
Right, because there could be multiple entries in there.
Yes, but the sales order is always unique.
Got it. I got it. Okay. Okay.
Right? So if you see the difference now, in the customer number is 100 is unique and 101 is unique. But there can be something like here. Hundred and 1200. Do you agree on that? So you got the difference, what is primary and what's foreign? See, if you don't know the difference, right? So now if you have this 100% bought two products.
Right.
So you can have multiple combinations, right? If you don't have those primary and foreign key in the table, you cannot really identify.
So what would be the primary key? Customer number.
Yes. What is the foreign key?
The material number.
Yes. You got it?
Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. So, do you know anything about a view? What is a view?
View. No, what is it?
What you're looking at, the information that's being shown.
Okay, so there are two things. One, in the database we have a table and also something which you have a view. You can call it as a table view, or sometimes they call it as view. Do you know what the difference is between them? Anyone know?
Layout? I don't know.
Okay. So table is really a place where you can store the data. Okay? And the view never ever stores the data. It's just a data view on top of a table. It's not stores any data physically, but a table stores data physically with a name.
Okay, so then what is the table view? It just gives you the names of the fields or something?
So let's say you have a table with 200 columns or in it, okay? But you don't want to view all those 200 columns all the time.
Okay.
So now, what do? You set up your own view.
It's like a filter.
Yes, you can call it that way, but I'll show you what this real view is. Okay? So now, what will happen? You laid out what you really want to see all the time. But it doesn't store the data on this view. It stores the data on the original table. Right? So let's say you have a customer table, right? So I have another 4 columns here. Maybe street name, and then country, phone number, email address. So all the time, you don't need street, country, phone, email address. All you need is the first 4. So you can create a view which refers to this table and show you the information of the first 4 columns. But the data is really stored in customer table, not on the view that you created. Did you get the difference?
Yes, so basically with the view, you can view the information you desire, not all of it.
Yes. But it doesn't store the data.
It's just a view. Nothing changes on the data side.
Yes. There's nothing going to change on the data side. Whatever the data is present on the table that you're building your view, you're just representing what columns that you want. But you're not actually changing any data on the table that the data stored. You guys get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Kiran, you got that? You need a break?
What time?
Yeah, like 5 minutes.
Yeah, time. We're fine.
Are you going to lunch? Are you going to eat something? Or?
Are we going to take a lunch break later?
12.
We'll finish today's class, let's say 12:30. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Then we can continue for another half hour and then disperse.
Okay. Cool.
Wait, what?
12:30?
You went after 4?
So 12:30, we're taking a break for an hour and coming
Yeah, good
back.
by me.
Are you
Because
talking about taking a lunch break and then we continue until 4?
we don't really have the system to continue that long.
Okay.
What do you mean?
So
SAP. Log in.
So
the login system, that SAP system that I can show you something.
systems are not ready yet.
Not ready yet.
So the system will be ready by tomorrow?
I guess so.
Okay.
Yes.
So either way, are we coming to class tomorrow? Will you 12:30 today?
Is there Avinash there?
No, he's outside.
Okay?
I'll talk to him and let you guys know about that.
Okay.
Because they said they're going to email me. I didn't see an email yet at this point, so I'm just wondering if the system is ready by now or tomorrow morning. I don't know yet.
Okay. The net meeting, the GoToMeeting password is the same? Call number?
It should be the same.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't have to go.
Okay.
That we installed
So we're
today?
going to be practice on. Those are individually, so they're not, the system is not ready. System probably installed, but both profiles, everything else probably not ready yet.
You know how he installed the stuff for you, SAP? That's it.
Yours is ready.
No, not really. Nobody's ready.
What do you do to get it ready?
They're going to login ID and password for you.
What happened is
They're going to create one. They're going to create an ID.
pretend this is a Windows system and the operating system. So they need to have a credentials and separate profiles for us to go in.
So we're not set up.
We need to set up the
Ready.
system yet.
So actually, they have to set up all your user accounts on the system before you even try to log in.
So who does that? Avinash or who does that?
It's not Avinash, it's somebody from their company. I don't know, they're basis guys. So they have some team, they build the systems and then they put you in profiles and everything in that system. But I haven't talked to him yet, so I don't know yet. So who does that? Hello?
Yes, we're listening.
Okay. So you don't have any questions on these, right? So far, whatever we're talking about today.
Yes, we're good.
Makes sense.
We're good. Okay.
So that's one. This is the introduction of
As a user, you saw this on your end? Feed?
I never, as a user, look at the tables. I was so curious. I try to get out, and I didn't necessarily get my books that I needed to get.
Okay.
That's my
Set up and how it's
yeah, I used to ask because when I need something, and I had to it's not in the queue. What do you mean it's not in the table when it's not in the queue? Like, who built up that information? The queue. To be like, so I get frustrated, like, and I was like, who doesn't know if that needs to be, you know, like, who's building this stuff that doesn't know what the user, you know what I mean? So it's like, well, get me in there and let me look at it, you know? And I couldn't, so what, you know, I couldn't get in. You know, I was like, finance, but if I always gravitated towards systems. Now I feel like I need a, you know, as an opportunity to sort of get that frustration and, you know, I don't know what the analytics and why they need to get the right information available. Because it's able in enough detail that you can pull it out. I had city and state, and they were keeping it by state, and they had to go and share everything together with fields that would, you know, to get with the city, and it was like a whole big deal. And I'm like, you know.
That's what happened, you know. This is requirements, you know. People gave it to him. It's the requirements.
Right, but
forget the city parts.
That's why this agile was great, and I suppose doing that it makes much more sense to the user, because you don't know even as a user.
I might not think of it now. Tomorrow they might come back and like, oh.
Yeah, because this is what I need. And then when they give it to me, I'm like, comparative. Well, you didn't say it should be comparative. Well, why would you have to say it? You know what I mean? Like.
And then that's what they too.
Yeah, so then I had to
2
go
months of work.
Hello?
I had to go back, and I had to get reports out. So it's like comparative is important because then you give validity to the number. So I know if I see comparative report and that number at the bottom ties to what I used last year, I have confidence that this year's numbers are comparable. Stuff like that. That like.
That's what happened a lot.
It has.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, I mean it's like.
Yeah, I got it.
Hi.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway.
Yeah, we have.
Okay. Sorry. So I if you see this particular line 19, so
In other things, not in that big
so do you really understand all those terms?
Company code, sales organization, sales office, division, sales order number, item number, material, customer, posting date, created on, order quantity, net price, net value. Yeah.
Yes.
So can you define what's net price is?
The net.
Actual amount that they're going to pay? Actual amount? Actual cost. Without tax.
Without after rebates and everything like that.
Without tax or money in the bank.
No.
Net of what? It depends.
Price.
Okay. So what if I create this way? Let me put it.
Is this sales order table, assuming?
Yes. So the net price is actually
Sales price? The unit cost.
unit cost.
Unit price. Unit sales price.
So some people call it as unit price in business terms,
Right.
and then some people call it in SAP is net price.
Okay.
So why I'm saying this, most of the BP group, which is the business group or business technology group, and the business is really, they don't go each other because their definitions are different. Some people call it as a net price, some people call it as a unit price.
Okay.
So in SAP, it's net price.
Okay.
So when we speak to any of the users, we really need to understand and more specific about what they're asking for, because sometimes they say, okay, the net value is equal to this. Net value is not $3.21, it's $32.10, because net price is the unit cost, and the net value is the unit cost multiplied by the order quantity, giving you the net value. That's what you're going to pay.
Well, then the extended price. What is?
Come again?
Well, what would you call? What would the net value be called in common terms? Is that the extended price? Unit price versus extended total.
Total, yes. Total cost of the order.
Total price. Total sales.
Total sale price. So go ahead.
$10 times 3.2.
10 units. And unit cost, unit price, 321.
Each costs $3. 10 costs 32.
Right.
Yep.
But what he's saying is that there's different terminology. So when we're talking SAP technical language, it's net price. When you're talking to the user, they're looking at it as unit price. It depends what shows on the invoice.
Right.
That's how they know it.
So when we speak to the users or ask a question, so we need to understand first what they're telling you. This is the most part where we go wrong.
Okay.
As my experience, I'm saying, because they think something, okay, can you give me the net price in this column? So is that a unit price they're expecting or the total price they're expecting? If you can ask a couple more questions, it would be easy for you.
Okay.
Otherwise, we develop everything back and then come back and show it to them and say, oh no, I would think something different. Then you again have to do rework.
Right.
So based on the information when a user is giving, ask her more specific about these numbers. Like example, like why I put this example, when you put the same example to them, when you're creating a report, this is the best practice. So then she would tell you, oh no, I would need a different thing here. I'm not expecting this column here, which I just marked in yellow. So then you know what to put in there. Right? So you'll reach your expectation right. And otherwise you put the net price and then again you have to do the rework all the time.
The quantity times the net price is equal to net value.
Yes. So do you know any difference between a billed quantity and an order quantity?
Build, yes. The order, want me to answer?
Go ahead.
So the order, you could order it, but you might just, it might be, something might be on back order, they're not
Out
available,
of stock.
and you're billing what was shipped.
Yes. Sometimes there might be a return. Let's say I ordered 10, you send me 10, but 2 of them are not good. I send it back, so you're supposed to bill me to 8 of them. Right?
Right.
So initially, if some people do that also, okay, he bought from us 10, but you also have to count the returns. That is what that's what he really bought from us, right?
Right.
Yes.
So some people they exclude returns and then they count the total sales orders. That's not the right way of doing it all the time. You need to make sure in certain cases we exclude returns, but most of the times we have to include the returns. Okay? All right. Any other question?
Are we clear?
Okay, so do you know what sales office is?
Sales office?
What do you mean by sales office?
The location could be.
Physical location?
Physical location of what?
The where the salesman is, the sales office.
Yeah. So let's say you have reps, right? The sales reps.
Yeah.
So usually they have their own territory. Like if you take New York, one sales rep will be selling something in Manhattan. Some guy might be selling outside Manhattan, right?
Okay.
So they have their own region. So this guy probably get the whole customer from Manhattan. Another guy will be outside of the Manhattan. So in the Manhattan office, you can name it as 610, and outside of Manhattan, it probably might be 710. So based on those territories or based on the cities, they name it as the sales offices. Okay? So it's based on the business. How do they think, and then they configure that way. For the company that I work,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I'm thinking, they can use different fields for different purposes because, they could have a salesman number, or they could have
that's also
salesman
there.
in a sales office.
But the sales office can have a group of sales reps too.
Right. Who's getting the credit for the sale is really.
Yes. So if you see these the magazines companies,
Which company?
the magazines.
Yeah.
So they have altogether a different way of doing this. So their sales office and their rep office, and then they have different numbers for each rep, all that. So in the normal straight manufacturing business of any product, if you have a sales office, you'll have multiple sales reps the sales office belongs to, and there will be a regional manager who has a group of sales offices under him. You getting me?
Yes.
So the company that I work, they have like 5-6 regional managers look everything up, and then there will be 500 to 600 sales reps on all the sales offices. Probably they have 40 sales offices, or 50 close to. So that's how they run their business. But it can be different in other businesses. It need not to be the same in every business. Did you get that?
Yes.
Can you give me 1 second?
Sure.
Nothing, the way he's saying he's going to finish the class well, right?
Yeah.
And there might not be a class tomorrow. Because if the student is ready, we will come to the class and deal with other stuff. Most likely what will happen is that by today, they will know how many people are interested. Let's say we all here, whatever that is. So they have assurance of us being here.
Hello? I'm sorry. Hello?
Stay here.
Yeah. So
Oh, we take a big break.
any other questions on this data set?
No, we good.
So you understand all the columns, right? Pretty much?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what do you want to achieve once you get through this class?
I need a master at it.
You want to be master, okay? So what's your idea on the business processes or on the BI's perspective, what's your idea? So how can a BI can be used more efficient way?
It's more like a data management, no?
Yeah, you close.
Data
Any
management.
other ideas?
BI is directly actually it's in between the management and the database.
Okay.
The BI's function is to collect all the information for the management to make decision. Be a middleman.
So you're saying it's a decision management system.
I'm sorry, what is it?
It's a decision management
I
system.
think we like to how to improve your sales processes, improve net revenue realization, etc.
Yes.
More like
So any other definitions?
sorting out information that you use all the time. That some information you don't use it at all. Some information you use more frequently. So sort them out. Just store them as you need them.
Yeah. So now most of the people are not. Most of the companies are not really get all the columns. They think they are not right for analysis. But going forward, every company is gonna look after each and every column, which is really help them in business in different ways. So that's where the people are going, and then they keep analyzing even the text that even put in by the customer in the comments column. So that's what the big data is. So they're analyzing each and every column. It might beneficiary to the business in one way or the other. So that's where people are growing their databases like anything. If you see now, you have 1 terabyte of hard drive on your laptop, right? 10 years ago, even it's 10 gig.
Yeah.
How many times you've grown the database for your laptop? It's almost like 100 times.
Exactly, yeah.
So what if you expect big companies like Apple or Amazon or eBay?
100 times.
More than that, right? Did you ever heard about the pegabytes?
Oh yeah. Did you?
So they're going that far of the data and coming maybe 5 years down the lane.
Okay.
So to analyze that kind of a data, you need a better system. Do you agree on that?
Yes, absolutely.
So when we talked about HANA and other stuff, that's what people are trying to achieve. To have the billion rows of the data set converting into a dashboard which can just tell you those numbers and the way detail to make the better decisions. Okay, so now let's go to Does anyone know about what is transformation is?
Transformation of data? One system to another? Transformation? Import?
Okay. So what is ETL is? What do you mean by ETL?
ETL.
Estimated timeline.
Left.
ETL.
The estimated timeline.
No. Okay. ETL means
Testing.
Electronic.
Extraction, transportation, and loading. Right.
Something to do testing.
Extraction, transportation, and loading.
yes.
Googling.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
How you doing?
Where did you get that?
Google it.
Google.
Oh.
Actually, that way,
Yes, that's
we
it.
also, once we Google it ourselves, it sticks to the mind as well.
That's
we read
good.
It out, it sticks to the mind.
Yeah.
It's like,
So
give you more information to read immediately.
we talked about different sources connecting to BI, right?
Right.
So what is really BI doing? It's extracting information from different sources of the systems and then transforming the way that you want it, and then loading the data into different tables in BI. Right?
Yes.
So that's where it's called ETL tool. So the similar ETL tools are, did you ever heard about Informatica?
Yes.
And then data services, which is a SAP tool.
Yeah.
So there are similar tools that are in market, which are the ETL tools. They extract, transform, and load. Okay?
Right.
All right. So do you know what multi-dimensional table is?
What is it, multi-dimensional? Multi-dimensional table.
Not flat.
Multi-dimensional.
The cube. I
Yeah,
guess
you're
it's a
right.
cube.
So what is the difference between a multi-dimensional and a flat table?
The way the data is stored and how you can search it, maybe?
Yeah, you're right. So in the flat table,
I think in the multi-dimensional table you would have different dimensions that can analyze data by.
yeah, what's really multi-dimensional table is, see, if you see the customer, material, sales office, sales org, division, company code, all these are different dimensions, right?
Different dimensions, yeah.
Because they don't change that often. They are master data too, right?
Okay.
So you know what's really a difference between a master data and a transactional data?
The master data,
Fixed information that never changes.
yeah, right. And the transaction is,
Updates and whatnot.
yeah, it's a process. It's a something that happens. It's a transaction that happens.
So
The movement that you're recording the movement.
yes, so the transactional data is you have changes every minute or every now and then, right?
That's right, recording an event. Okay.
What's master data is, it's hard to change. It's more like how many times a customer address will change. maybe a couple of years once,
Yeah.
maybe not, right?
Yeah, like their address may change.
Their address might change maybe 2 years once, or some people they don't even change.
Right.
So, but in the sales order, if you create a sales order, your inventory was yesterday 200 packets. Now it can be 2,000 packets or 20 packets too, right? It keeps changing. So the transactional data changes every now and then, every day, day to day. But whereas a master data, it's hard to change. It's way less possibilities to change every day. So let's assume that the company code, you have one company code for your company, 10. You won't change it, right? So there are two different data sets that you load every time into a database. One is master data, and another one is a transactional data. So what is a dimension table? When you have multiple dimensions, like company code, sales org, sales office, division, material, customer, so they are like this. Do you know what star schema is?
What?
Star schema.
Star scheme?
Schema.
Schema?
C-H-E-M-A.
S-C-H-E-M-A, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know tables.
It will be a schema for arranging data.
Yeah. So now there is one fact table. Okay, what is fact table? Where your numbers stores, the net price, net value, all these stores in the fact table. Okay? And then you have the dimension tables, like material, customer, and others, right? So a fact table surrounded by a dimension table is called a star schema.
A fact table, what by a dimension table? Surrounded by.
Yes, because see, this fact table can be joined from multiple dimension tables. This can link this way, and this can also join this. And there might be multiple dimension tables. So I just put only two. So material, and then this is customer. There can be a company code, sales, or everything can be. So now, if I put one on the bottom, it looks like a star. Right? So if these also connects, back to the same thing.
So it is a dimension table surrounded by fact table.
Yeah. They were connected.
So it's one fact.
One fact table is surrounded by all the dimension tables, right?
So a fact table is surrounded by the dimension table.
You got that?
Got it.
Okay. So what is a metadata repository?
What is it again?
Metadata repository.
Where we store the data?
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any idea about this?
Where you pull stuff and you put it into a new place?
So what is metadata first?
Repository?
Metadata is the, I don't know the exact definition, but I've heard of it.
Maybe it's a whole combination of this big mass of data.
Data within the data is called metadata.
Would it be information
Data within data.
Prefix that is
information about the data?
Yeah. Yeah. You can also call that way. Yes. Yes.
So he's saying information about the data?
underlying definition of or description.
The data within the data is called metadata.
There's two types: structural,
Data about data.
descriptive.
Description of the data, no? Is it description of the data?
Or
It's
definition.
data about the data is called metadata. The simplest form of the definition.
Position.
And is that in another table?
Yeah, so if you have all the different objects, right, in the system, they maintain the list of all these objects and their types and their names, everything in one place. Okay? That is called metadata repository. So because you have the object and then you're talking about the object and giving the information about the object, that is what data about the data, right? That is called metadata. So because you have something and you're talking about the same data information again and giving you some information, that is what metadata is. And storing all these different objects in one place, and then you can get all those objects from that place. You can activate it, or you can see what they link to, or what they are, and what their properties are, everything. That is where you see the repository. That's what you call it as a repository. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Even if you don't get it, I'll show it in the system so that you might get that. Okay. So what else? So what is a flat table?
Flat.
Isn't that sort of what we were doing before?
Yeah. Display information.
So if you store the information in this way, in the table with no dimension tables, that is what the flat table is.
And how is it different from a cube? A cube is sort of like a bunch of
Cube
flat
has,
together
yeah,
things?
cube has different dimension tables. Like material is one dimension table, and customer is one dimension table. And then when we build it, you will better know it, because cube has 16 dimensions. That's the max number of 16, 16 dimensions. Okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So when we build it, I can show you why we have 16 dimensions and why can't we create more dimensions. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
So is it a group of flat tables? Or not really?
Not really, because those dimension tables are having their own dimensional IDs and a lot of stuff.
Okay.
It cannot be just a flat table, but you cannot say that, but in some cases, yes, you can say a couple more flat tables can also be put into a dimension table. Hello?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Did you say that we're going to have a break around 12:30?
Yeah, actually actually we are closing this session today.
Why can't you show us more?
You're closing the session?
Yeah, because we don't have the system available right now because I can't really teach you anything.
Let me get Avinash.
You can't show us what a dimensional table looks like? Sri?
Yeah, I can show you that, yes. But not right now. I don't have the system availability right now.
So, what about the documentation? Is that going to be sent tomorrow?
Yeah,
Monday?
I'm going to send you the document.
Okay. I also wanted to check regarding the, do you have an overview of what you're going to cover in the whole course?
She didn't give you the content list?
I have one.
Yes, we got it here.
We got it, yeah.
Yeah, but that was very generic. That was quite generic. I mean, I was looking forward to, some more detail about what will be covered during each weekend.
Okay, so what we really cover in the whole class of this BI classes, what are the objects that you can create in BI and how can you utilize it and how can you do reporting on them and what kinds of data extraction types that you can do with all your source systems, how can you create connections, and what different databases that you can connect, and how you create the sources, data sources, or how can you build the sources and what types of data sources that you can build in your source system, and how a deltas work, because you can't do every day the whole full load, so how the delta mechanism works, and there's more to talk about, but these are more technical high level. So if you cover all this, you pretty much cover every inch of the object in BI.
I think we have the same question here. Is this
What about BI? Would you be
BI? Hello?
No, Business Explorer.
Business Explorer is a tool which is from Business Objects. Okay, so there is two things. One is Business Explorer is BEX. That's what we're going to cover in this. Okay, so that is, if you see some of the definitions, it's called as Business Explorer, called as query definitions or a query designer. Okay, where you can design your query. And I'll also talk about.
Okay, so you're not going to be covering BI.
BI?
You mean dashboards? What?
Did you say you want to cover BI?
I didn't understand.
Did you say you want to be covering BEX?
We will be covering BEX.
You have a question?
Sure. Is there the documentation we have where you specify each session is covered what detail of the each session, that we will know what is going to be covered next week or the
Okay.
next. Yeah. That's
Sure,
nothing
I'll
but-
send you the document.
Yeah.
So that you can prepare before if you have time, and then we can talk about more in the session.
Yeah, we can just read about it a little bit if we have time.
Yes. Yeah, I'll send you the contact.
Do you have all our emails?
Can
Yeah,
you
that's
type
exactly what I was looking for.
Or we're going to correspond to Madhu, and Madhu will send it to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works. That works.
What's your question, Kiran? Hello? Kiran?
All right. Avinash is
Yeah,
here.
I'm having some problem I think with the video, with the audio here.
Okay.
So and I can't see chat bar.
You can see my screen?
I can see your screen, but I don't have a chat window.
Oh, okay. Otherwise, I can take all your email IDs from Avinash.
Okay. He's here if you want to talk to him.
Shri, I'm Avinash, I'm here.
Hey, Avinash, this is what it is, because I'm going to send the material to Madhu. Can you inform her to send all the materials to all these people?
Sure, I'll tell her. Yeah.
Okay.
And also the server access, they're going to get it by today, the end of the day today, or if not by Monday for sure.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Not a problem.
We can start working on that. I have the software for SAP, so I can install that.
If you don't mind, Avinash, can you pass if you have the GUI software, the SAP GUI? Can you pass on to these guys so that they can install on their laptop or desktop at home?
Yeah, I started installing on Eileen's, and also Rakib also has it.
Oh, okay. I just want to know because that's if it's a first primary step, so we can tell them how to configure the system in their desktop or a laptop so that they can start using it once the system is ready.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll install the GUI on the computer.
Is there a class tomorrow or no?
Shri, there is, Madhu told me that there is no class tomorrow, is it right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because of the system?
Yeah, I think server access.
Yeah, I don't want you guys to, if we talk more on this, we're going to forget more, but if you really see on the system, that would be great, and then it will be a quick learning.
Now, Shri, is this going to be an homework every time after the class, or anything you will suggest us to read since there's no class
Yes,
tomorrow?
so I have, as there is no class tomorrow, I'll send you some of the definitions so that if you can read through them and then understand them, that would be good.
Okay.
And then I'll send you some of the transaction codes, okay? Which you need to look at and then try to understand what they are.
Okay.
Because we're going to use a transaction codes all the time that's not in SAP.
Right.
And then you get confused what transaction code for what.
Right.
So try to, I don't know, you want to memorize all them, but if you just remember the screen names, that would be good. Okay? And then going forward, once the session is done, so you have to do the same kind of homework stuff. It's basically you practice it. And create a new thing that what we did, so that you have a project way of doing all the things. Let's say I created some objects today, so you can also create different objects with different names so that you can parallelly working on a different project. So by the time when you start creating basic objects to your report, you'll have another flow that you create by yourself, so you'll understand.
Right.
Okay, so there's going to be no class tomorrow, Sunday, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can the organizer or somebody call me back?
Kiran, I'm not able to reach Madhu today. I'll call her again. If possible, I'll make her call you. I'll inform her. I'll leave a voicemail on her mobile.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right. So any other questions you have before we leave?
That's it.
That's it? All right. Thanks for all.
That's it. Look forward to the material.
Yeah, sure. I'll be sending out.
All right, Sri. I think I'll stop the conference.
Yeah. I'll talk to Madhu as well. I'll call her and let her know.
Sure.
And then I'll send them emails and materials to her so that she can pass on to them.
Yeah, that'll be
Okay?
great.
All right. Yeah. Thanks all. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Where's the different time zone? Comes up.
ఎక్కడ పండుగ పడుకున్నావు మరి నేను పడుకుంటున్నాను ఆశిస్తా